Hey there, pumpkin. Hey, it's Care. Welcome to My Take at the Lake. Checking in on how things are going with the Using Same Images project. It is still fall. Technically, we're coming up on Thanksgiving. It's still fall until the middle of December. So put your Easter stuff away and hang with me for a few minutes. So if you haven't seen the recent videos, Amy at Doki Doki Forest and I have concocted an idea, actually it was her idea, to use the same images for a glue book project. So after serious search to find the same magazine, we harvested that same magazine together. It was a October Better Homes and Gardens magazine was our first one. We recorded that whole harvesting thing for you, but it had no sound on either end. Apparently our iPhones, microphones cannot multitask. If the microphone's being used for Zoom, it can't record the screen recording. Go figure. But now we know. But I do have footage, and I'll show you some of that here and there throughout the video, or maybe certain clip. I'm not sure how this is all going to go, so another experiment. Which, by the way, here's a bird walk. Fast forward if you don't want to hear the bird walk. But it's about our video thing. I put this in a comment on Amy's video. I love things that are meta for some reason. A book about a book, or writing about writing, when the thing is about the thing, or the thing is surrounded by more of the thing. So the idea is that we get the same magazine, harvest the same images, and then use the same images in each of our glue books to see how we use them differently or similarly. Well, we each recorded the second Zoom call. Well, we each recorded the first Zoom call, and neither of us got sound, and Zoom did not record it for me. Thank you, Zoom. So there was no sound on that video. So the second time, Zoom did record it for me. Thank you, Zoom. And that had sound, but terrible, grainy footage. Amy came up with the great idea to use her iPhone footage, which is very clear and crisp, and the Zoom sound. I had already made my video. I spent 4 hours making the Zoom video work. But anyway, we had the same stuff and we made different videos. And I just think that's fascinating. Hers has, like I said, clear, crisp images and bloopers. And hers, because she used our screen recordings, hers has the screen with me and a small screen so you can see what we're both doing at the same time, where the Zoom recording that I used flipped back and forth. Whoever was talking was on screen. Zoom edited that for me, so it was out of my hands. And so hers seems a lot more calm and collected, and mine is very chaotic and fast, even though we had the exact same materials to use, which is what this hashtag using the same images is all about. How two different people use the same exact stuff to make different things. It's great fun, and I've been loving the bejesus out of it. So I'm going to show you some clips of our harvesting that video here with a little bit of voiceover or silent movie music. I'm not sure which. And then I'll show you what I did with the first batch of images. So here's our lovely screen Zoom call. It worked beautifully the first time, but for the sound issue and the non-recording issue. There was Amy with her wonderful little mushroom and her very cool fox in the forest necklace. Wonderful. Me and my messy kitchen behind me. I am always in a state of cleaning and purging. So you see behind me loads of boxes and a vacuum cleaner. And I had to make a fast cup of coffee because I was running late. Go figure. So I left my cupboard doors open. Oy vey. Anyway, here's our Better Homes and Gardens magazine. And you'll see that there's a lot, as Amy said in her video, it's very pumpkin heavy and Halloween heavy. It's an October magazine, of course. I'm not going to show you the entire harvest, but I wanted to show you where some of these things came from that you'll see in the flip through of my pages, what they started out looking like, so you can see what they ended up looking like. Of course, there's dogs and water and fireplaces. This is so cute. This little carved pumpkin village. Looks like they used zucchini for the walkway steps. So cute. I love this, having the screen in screen, so you can see what we're both looking at and what we're both doing and focusing on. that is the beauty of recording the screen on your phone rather than going through Zoom, because Zoom edits out the screen and screen. As I said, lots and lots of Halloween stuff. A lot of it looked pretty vintage. Very fun stuff. Halloween M&Ms. Halloween it like you mean it. That's adorable. So I got some really good things for the Halloween journal for next year. And it wasn't just all Halloween or fall. There were some really good texture patterns and color patterns. And so as we were going, if I found something I liked, I just put it aside for later to harvest for the other projects. This was so sad. We debated on using this one or not. It says pets are domestic abuse survivors too, which of course breaks my heart. But it's so true. So we decided to take the Beastly and the lady in the purple sweater. I save these paint ads, paint layouts. I just think they're phenomenal ads. Another Beastly ad we didn't take for this project, but of course we took. Another beautiful pupper picture. Some things that had relevance to nothing. You know, every page cannot be perfect and wonderful. Lots and lots of ads, of course. I nearly missed, there's a puppy carving on that pumpkin. Some fantastic Halloween stuff. This was so cool. They have ravens everywhere in this picture. It doesn't look overly Halloween-y, but it's scary. It's not bright, but it's Halloween. Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. So you can see we ended up with quite a nice haul of images for this project. All the Halloween things at this point were put aside because we weren't going to do Halloween. We had later decided we'd each pick a couple from the Halloween batch to add to the project. But that's a nice size pile of goodies to play with, to see how we each use them so very differently. We harvested the Better Homes and Gardens, the first batch, and then we found the second magazine that we harvested together. And Amy had already done all of her Better Homes and Gardens. She had already done all of her pages before we harvested the second magazine, because we didn't know we were going to get the second magazine. I just didn't had the time to do mine. And so my thinking was, well, once we got the second one, I thought, well, I'll just do all my images together. Well, that kind of defeats the purpose in that if she's only using Better Homes and Gardens and I use Better Homes and Gardens and Country Living, it's not the same images. And if you've spent 2 minutes on the channel, you know I'm a very literal person. And if we're using the same images, well, then we're using the same images, not some of the same images. So I did the same thing. Even though I had two big piles, I just used, for this video that you're going to see today, I only used the Better Homes and Gardens one from the first harvest, just like Amy did. So here's what I have done with the Better Homes and Gardens pages. I decided I wanted something on the cover. And if you've not guessed by now, we're doing this for 4 seasons. So we started in the fall. I'm going to do a winter, a spring, and a summer strip. And I put a similar image on the back. Although I think this is from the second batch, and this is from the first batch. And that's all right. That's okay. It's just the cover. Isn't that cute? I love that. Hey there, pumpkin. I have to cover up some of these words and a whole bunch here, but I wanted something dark and I haven't found it yet. So these will be a work in progress apparently, but this is what I did with these pages. A lot of times, like I said, I just like the images the way they are. They're very well done. They're beautiful. And I don't need to jazz them up. I do need to cover some things. Here is this fantastic room. Dream, I think it said inspiration for the month, and I covered it up with this bit that we cut out, this dark and cozy den used for reading and watching movies. Look at all the books and the CDs and the maybe DVDs and the surround sound and stacks of books and boxes of books and stacks of books and stacks of books and beautiful art. Wonderful. I just loved it how it was. I did add this for a pop of color. I did add this to cover up the words. Light it up, carving art. This wasn't for this. I don't think it was for this, but this was really fun strip, and I wanted something to kind of coordinate. Here's the rest of that beautiful dark den. So it goes from here to here to here. And then we jump into my dark pumpkins. Sorry about the glare. A lot of things I like as they are, so I don't chop them up and I don't cover them up. A lot of times I will cover up the words. I love speaking volumes, but I love this too. Is there anything more magical than a room full of books? These inviting multi-purpose libraries spotlight the power of decorating with your favorite reads. I've always believed that books make some of the best home decor, especially your favorite books. And so instead of covering it up, I left it. There is another part of this room. It's in a different part of the book. This is kind of hard to see, but it's really dark pumpkins, and it just seemed to fit this room for me. This I added just for a pop of brightness and color in this dark room. In keeping with the dark pages, we had a lot of words. That was my fault. Every time I saw a pretty word, I said we needed it. So we had lots of word clips. A little bit more of the dark. Some pretty gourds. This had a little bit of writing there. I just out of pure habit, totally cut the lady out, left the dog. But that's how I roll. I'm pretty sure Amy probably left that girl who's holding this dog in. I took her out. I added the welcome sign and another batch of flowers. But this is my puppers page. Most of the time I like to cover up all of the back page. But once in a while, I can live with something like this because I love notebook paper and I like the brightness compared to the darkness of this side. And so this was one page spread. We lost a couple of them for something on the back, but we were able to keep many of the gourds. This is a tiny little spice rack. A stack of nuts. Very zen. Very crooked. Good going. That's what happens when you glue at 1 o'clock in the morning. More with the baking theme. And this is a beautiful entryway. Some gorgeous, I don't think they're carrots. I don't know what they are. Maybe they are. I'm not sure. Parsnips? Question mark? I don't know what they are. But there was some writing here that I wanted to cover up. And I wanted to use this dark on a dark page. Buzzworthy baking, yes please. Falling for marigolds, again I left some bright white. This is the whole thing. So I'm making another project, and right next to me when I was doing this was a stack of those, they're called pop dots or two-sided sticky foam to make things three-dimensional. And we had kept this picture and the cover. And so I cut this piece out of the cover. It's kind of hard to tell, but I ended up using this piece on top of the photograph to give it some dimension. There you can see my sticky foam in there. That's kind of not exactly using the same thing, but it was spur of the moment and I thought it was cute. I did use the same images. I did add the sticky foam, which should be points against me for not playing by the rules. Because then where would it stop? Oh, I painted it. Oh, I colored in. Oh, I added stickers. That's not using the same stuff. So ding, ding, ding. Points lost for that. But I really like the way that it turned out. I think it was fun. And of course, when it's closed all the time, it squishes it down and you can't even really tell. But I know it's there. It gives it a little bit of a fun dimension. And I like the white border on this nice bright page. Some fussy cutting, not perfectly fussy cut. I did cover up some words that were on the pictures. I do need to find one here to cover this up because what I have wasn't big enough. So I'll have to find something eventually to cover that. Maybe something from the other batch will fit. We did have some Halloween. That book was filled with Halloween stuff. And even though we decided we were going to harvest fall things, there was a truckload of Halloween. And I thought, well, Halloween is part of fall. And if we're doing a 4 seasons journal, Halloween is part of that. And so we each picked from the Halloween stuff. We put aside, I think maybe 3 or 4 images. I can't remember now. And then added those to this fall spread. Celebrate, covering up a little bit of words. I did cover up a really cute owl, but it was, I couldn't figure out a way to do that. I suppose I could have cut the celebrate in half and put celebrate. I should have done that, and then I would have had my owl. But it was late. I was tired. This is really cool, this old-fashioned, it's a vintage magazine, Spooky Snacks for Halloween. Maybe late 1950s, early 1960s. There's some color advertising there. I also did embellish a couple of the images. These beautiful, wonderful, my favorite in the whole world, caramel apples were surrounded by candy corn, which is the antithesis of my favorite. Candy corn, just the thought of it makes me gag. And so I blacked it all out. So to me now they're black jelly bellies. We're just going to go with that. This is a wonderful picture. I loved exactly how it was. It had some writing down here. Maybe not, but it certainly had writing right here. And so this was another image that we cut, and I just cut it flat to look like it was sitting on top of the piano with the skulls, and left most of the image as it was because I like the simplicity of it. I like the cleanness of it. More Halloween, because again, Halloween is part of fall. And again, I blacked out all of the yucky candy corn. I was going to cut all these out and then just put them in different places, but once I got to my Halloween pages, I decided to go with that. This is awesome. Cute little pumpkin village and these vintage looking goodies. There's the owl that I cut out right there. And she's right. We ended up with a lot of words. I thought, oh, good. I got all my words put away. And then when I closed my book, I had them tucked in a page, and I don't know, 5 more fell out. So I have to find room for several more words that I insisted we cut out. But I think I can handle it. I think I can do it. So that's where we are so far. The next video then will show you what we did with the batch that we harvested from the Country Living magazine. We already have all of the magazines. I found at St. Vinny's 2 copies of spring, 2 spring, 2 summer, 3 spring and 3 summer, I think, something like that. So we already have the magazines for spring and summer. We both subscribed to Country Living magazine because it's so gorgeous. I'm hoping that they send us a December issue and then a January, February issue, and October, November. So it'd be December, January, and January, February. That would give us 2 beautiful winter books, or excuse me, magazines to harvest. So fingers crossed that's how that works out, because then we'll have our winter books for our winter session of using the same images. I want to give you a real quick sneak peek of a project I'm working on that I am going to bring to you soon. This is why the stickies were out. I made quite a few 3-dimensional little things recently, and I can't wait to show you. So stay tuned for and this comes with a nice big announcement. Yay! Until we meet again, you have a lovely, lovely crafty day. Make sure your beastlies are staying warm. It's getting chilly willy out here locally. If you're in hot climates, make sure they stay cool with lots of water. Keep them inside. If it's too hot or too cold for you, it's too hot or too cold for them. You take care. Mate at the lake. Out for now.